Hey, hey, BA fam. Welcome back to the show. It's been a long time coming. I watch way too much K pop Demon Hunters, and now all I want to do is sing. It's been a long time coming, but we're back with another brown table. Welcome back, Chris and Yanely. It's been too long. I missed y'all.
Girl, it
Oh, it's been a
has.
while.
Y'all
A
had a
minute.
busy, y'all been
So much has
busy.
happened. Yes, seriously.
Did y'all both? Well, tell me what's going on. I mean, obviously, Yanely, you are in like, are you just still in like the ecstasy of
I
learning
mean,
that
you
the man
know.
is going to be Super Bowl
I have
legendary performer this year?
I have the mandatory concert merch on to, pre-celebrations, but yes, it is happening and I'm so excited. This is the third time I'm going to get to experience him. I saw him in person, saw him with the Amazon thing, and now I get to see him again at the Super Bowl. I'm not
Are
really
you
going to watch
going?
the game. No, I'm not really going to watch the game. I'm just going to watch the concert. Like, I don't care about the
Yeah.
sport. I care about Benito. But no, I'm so excited, especially because he just did Saturday Night Live over the weekend. It was
Oh, that's
so
right.
good. So good. Did you see Mandy the sketch on the K-pop girls? The Huntrix came and
K-pop Demon
performed.
Hunt. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only
it was
thing I saw
so
so far.
funny.
Same.
Oh my God. There's so many good ones. There were a couple that were kind of corny and some that were so niche that you won't get it unless you grew up in a Latino household. But I thought that they did a good job.
But isn't that, I think Bad
Mm.
Bunny is like such a good example of how just be exactly as niche and like exclusionary as your personality is, like as specific as you can be, and how I don't know what is it about it that like I don't know half the stuff
Yeah.
that he says in his music, maybe more than half, but like I still love and adore him, and I bet I watch that
Yeah.
sketch and crack up. But there's just something
Yeah.
about someone who's being so authentic that is so
Right.
electrifying and just
Yep.
makes you like love them.
Yeah,
It's
and it just
endearing.
it's cross cultural because even though the cultural references might be niche and specific, there's everybody's culture has those things. So you could
Hmm.
imagine like what it is for your people, even if it's not exactly what he's doing or saying. So it's it's relatable, even if you don't necessarily get it, you still get it. I think people
Yeah.
really just love that. And everybody wants that for him, for themselves. Everybody wants to be able to just be their full authentic self and not have to turn on and off or tune it up or down. Like just be you. And so the fact that he gets to do it and gets to be celebrated and just success after success comes to him, it's like, damn, it just feels so damn good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
I
that's the thing. Like, you don't have to experience someone exact like life and how they grew up to appreciate it or to find the humor in it. I mean, that was the best part about growing up for me. Is like all my friends came from different backgrounds, different homes, families. Some families were immigrants, some grew up here for generations, and you just learn what their family does, how they party, how they eat, the things they do, the jokes they have, and that's just part of. To me, that's part about of being American is getting to meet all these different people from different cultures, and you incorporate things, you learn, you join, and be a part of it, and that's what makes it great is getting to do those things, and
I don't
I
know,
think we can
Chris.
appreciate it. I mean, that's.
It's kind of giving libtard energy, which a recent
Oh,
reviewer
I'm
of the
so sorry.
podcast just said this is a podcast run by a bunch of libtards.
Oh,
You're
oh, is
not
that what
helping
we
me
are?
out, Chris. You're not helping me out.
I'm so sorry. I lost
You
myself for a
see?
Well,
second there.
for that person who wrote that comment, they might not know that what Chris was referring to as being proud to be Americans includes Bad Bunny. He is American. Puerto Ricans are American, okay? If that makes me a libtard to have to announce that for you, who probably doesn't know it and left that stupid comment, it's just for you, okay?
There's something so juicy and scrumptious about how pissed off so much of America is by this man getting
It
this
makes
gig.
Yeah.
no sense.
I
My
love
friend,
it.
my friend
I
sent me
love
his
it.
post of
I want to
all the people who
inject it into
performed at
my
the Super Bowl.
veins.
There've
Yeah.
been so many people who performed at the Super Bowl who are not American at all, and no one
Yeah.
said anything. And it's like now you
Facts.
have someone who actually is, and it's like, what do you have to complain about? Just go listen to the
Yep.
music and enjoy it. And be quiet.
Yep. Yep. Well, we're in the middle of trying our hardest to get rid of so many people who look and sound just like him. So I
Oh,
think that it rubs people the wrong way for that reason. It doesn't make sense in their mind. It's like an oxymoron. How can we be getting rid of them and then celebrating them on the main stage at our biggest sport? Like, what? It doesn't
mhm.
make sense. And so I think that that's why people got rubbed the wrong way. They're genuinely confused and conflicted, but that sounds like a personal problem to me. I'm gonna be eating my patelitos and dancing, drinking coquito, and singing lyric after lyric of Bad Bunny songs at every single song in the performance. And I hope he doesn't speak a lick of English.
I don't think he will. He had a little tiny part in the Shakira J Lo performance. I'll never forget. He had that aluminum foil outfit and like the
That's
Yeah.
aluminum foil
right.
do rag. Bad Bunny, isn't that so the American story right now? The like
Yeah.
the the polar sides of what's happening. Like we have Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, and then we have still ICE raids. Like, have y'all heard
Yep.
about what's going on in Chicago right now?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
terrible. I mean, I have two nieces and nephews who I saw over the weekend when I went to celebrate my brother's birthday in New York, and I said to them, like I said, you're growing up in a time where you're actually witnessing that it's more of these divided states of America than it is united. And if you're really
Mm.
confused about it, you're not alone. And like I wanted to just encourage them to start just to talk more about it, ask questions. Cause like I just cannot imagine being 10, 11 years old at a time like this. Like
Mm.
I'm like, dang, when I was a preteen teenager, like that's when I started to see a shift. And obviously when I was 18 and I got to vote in my first election, it was me voting for Obama in '08. Like I just have such a different recollection of being a young, like coming of age in America. And now to see it feel like we're kind of going backwards in some ways, I just like felt so much pain for them. And I wanted them to be like, it's okay if you feel confused or if you see things that don't quite make sense. Like, let's talk about it. But yeah, just, I don't know how y'all do it with these kids, y'all mommies and daddies. Like it's hard to have some of those conversations. It really is.
I think you got to know your kids. And like my
Yeah.
5-year-old, I've realized I can challenge him with some difficult, what I perceive as like difficult concepts. Like
Yeah.
I explained to him why we don't shop at Target anymore and why we do shop some places but not others. And he loves Teslas and he loves that ugly Cybertruck. For him, it looks like the coolest
A
Lego,
toy.
right?
It is like a toy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I love Cybertrucks. And I was like explaining why Elon Musk, because he even knows Elon Musk like by name. And explaining some of the bad things that Elon Musk has done. And he's like, I love it because I think people are afraid of confusing or stressing them out, but I can see him like realizing it's okay to like this thing, but to understand, like to think critically about like who's behind it and like
Right.
they can do some, bad things and we cannot support that, but we can like this thing. And do y'all remember like I feel like when I like arrived at my political consciousness, I was about 13. It was during the Bush Gore election of 2000 because it was like the thing, of course, like I'm in US history class and like the teachers talking about it. And then I just remember my parents never really talking about it other than, well, and I come from a Republican, my mom's side of the family is very Republican. So it was just like, well, Bush is the winner and that's that. There was no, we weren't like, I wasn't one of those families that would like have conversations about it as if there was choices and decisions to be made about it. It was just like, well, that's what we do, and I feel
Yeah.
like at least in this house now, in my family now, I want to like have those kinds of conversations and teach. It just took me way too long to learn how to like think critically about what I was being fed by my
Yeah.
own, family. But I think today's teenagers are built different.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have social media at their fingertips, and we didn't have that. Like I grew up in a
Mm.
home that was not political at all. Like my parents they didn't have the privilege to participate until much later when my mom actually became a citizen, and my dad, even though he had the right to vote, he didn't really exercise it. So we never talked about politics at all. It wasn't even a conversation. Like when there was a presidential election, sometimes like for homework I would have to watch the debate and like answer questions about it, and my
Mm.
dad would get annoyed at me because I would make him change the channel when he was watching Univision and Telemundo, and I would have to be like, Dad, I have to watch the election because I have to answer questions, and he would get annoyed. So it wasn't the kind of thing that it was top of mind to me until I like graduated high school. Once I went off to college, then I started thinking about it on my own. But I feel like that's not really the case for so many American families now. It's not like you can choose. You're talking about it because it's everywhere. And a lot of
Yeah.
these teenagers and even preteens, like my niece is 11, she's about to be 12. She uses TikTok better than me, and she knows what's going on. She's very, very aware. So it's like, even if you're not talking to them about it, trust, they are still being exposed to it.
Rio managed to
Yeah.
post a TikTok on my account yesterday, y'all.
Wait,
The boy
what
Sounds
was
about
it?
right.
He's
Sounds about
never been
right.
on TikTok before other than watching it. He thought it was the most hilarious thing ever.
What was the
Oh my
video? What did he post?
It was just somehow he had a song behind it too. It was just him and I thought we were reading books together, and he caught me slipping when I went to the bathroom, and I come back and he's posted this thing, and it's
That's
just him
hilarious.
staring at the screen giggling. That's all it is. That's all it is.
He figured
Um,
it out. You see what I'm saying? They figure it out. They know how to use these. Look, it's a different, I think, experience around media it's so different because it's immediate,
Mm,
it's instant, right on their hand, it's in their hands. Like
yeah.
we had a harder time accessing media, and of course I feel like at least
Mm.
back then it was a little bit less biased. Like I feel like no matter what source you get your news from, it's heavily biased nowadays. It's really hard for me to find
Yeah.
unbiased
Mm,
sources of news information.
yeah.
And so I just think those
Anybody
are
can
kind
have a
of
mic. Anybody can go on the internet. It's the
I
most
mean, look,
democratic thing we have now.
I have a mic. Why do I have a mic? I got a they give me a mic. So clearly.
Well, I don't think I think it's more important than ever for people
Yeah.
like us to be on the mic. I need it more than ever, actually, because as of like 5, 6 days ago, when the government shut down, mama is the sole income earner of this household because
Mm,
my husband, he has been going to work with no pay ever
wow.
since the shutdown. We'd been here before because in 2019, I remember that was like well, we had no kids then, so it wasn't as stressful. But in
Yeah.
the fall of 2019, there was another shutdown. That was the longest one. I think it was like 30 days or something.
Mm,
Yeah. 35 maybe.
So because he works in public safety for the Department of Justice, yeah, he still goes to work business as usual with no pay. So
Yeah.
mm.
It's so hard. I mean, at least that he'll be back paid at some point. It's just
Yeah.
it's just
I
an
don't know
uncomfortable.
what the fuck's gonna happen
You
though.
don't have
Like
confidence in that?
I don't.
I
I
mean,
genuinely don't. I mean, you know, I keep hearing I think the Democrats, they're very like on the same message about why, they refuse to pass the continuing resolution like that would
yeah.
fund, patch the government. I feel like the budget that we have in America is literally just a series of patches. It's just like get us through to the next 6 months, the next whatever, get us through
Mm,
Yep.
this. That's all it is.
It's very
Um,
American. That's a
it's
fact.
it's like kicking the can down the road. But this patch, at least the way it is now, Democrats have been really focusing on healthcare as a central issue. Millions of people, their premiums, if you use Obamacare, they expire at the end of this year, and that's been like the hill that Democrats, I don't know. Okay, they're not going to die on this hill, literally, but
mm,
like they are putting their eggs in this one basket of like America will understand because it's
Yeah.
about
mm.
healthcare and these benefits. Does that resonate with y'all? Does that move
I mean,
you
it
to
does and it
understand?
doesn't. It does and it
Mm,
doesn't. Like I feel like if we think back to what was the number one thing that pushed people towards supporting an administration like the one that we have right now, it was a lot of people talking about the economy and the economic situation that they find themselves in. And unfortunately, I don't feel like a lot of people understand what a huge part of your economic situation healthcare costs are, because
yeah.
it doesn't really kick in until it kicks in, or until you need it, or until you get that fat medical bill. And so because it's not an everyday thing like the groceries, like housing, those things that are immediate and every single day and top of mind for families that cause the most stress, healthcare unfortunately is just not one of those big 3 or 4 things. And so I don't know if it's landing. It's hard for me to say because I'm one of those privileged people who's covered by insurance through the work, not my work but my partner's work. And so it's hard, but I completely understand why it matters, and I'm like touting it and reposting the articles and saying this is huge. Imagine if your medical costs go one day from $400 a month to $850 a month. Like, think about that. That's insane. And for this to happen to tens of millions of people overnight, we can prevent it. But from just what I'm seeing and hearing around me, I just feel like it's not hitting people. It's not gutting people the way I think it
Yeah.
should, for them to actually be able to be like, oh, this is why the Democrats are making, this stand.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you see things like gas prices and egg prices get people up in arms because it's very visible, right? Gas stations
Mhm.
are on every corner. You go in the grocery store, you're going to see the egg prices, and it's like in your face. But things like this are so kind of like abstract because like it won't happen immediately, right? It'll be like when you renew for the next year, and it's kind of like
Yep.
out in the distance, and you don't think about how it could change because you don't know exactly how it's going to change until it happens. And it's one of those things where it's like it's sometimes it is hard to get people to care about things that
Yep.
they're a little difficult to understand and grasp. But it's one of those things where you will understand it once it hits you, and now you're dealing with these higher prices.
Yeah. or you won't understand it. Because let's be real, it's designed in a way to confuse the shit out of us. It's like, oh, you got premiums, you got deductibles, you got out-of-pocket max, you got, I mean, just the fact of healthcare in and of itself being so complex, overly complex for no freaking reason, is one big reason why it's just very nebulous. It just becomes this giant question mark in people's heads of like, first of all, I don't really understand healthcare. And so now you're trying to tell me that healthcare should be the main concern when it's something that is a giant question mark in my mind. It's like doubly offense, like it's a double offense. So I personally just think it's really a tough situation that we're in right now. I'm hopeful that things will work, but it's hard to say. I mean, I'm seeing so many people not get it. You know, like I went into my family chat the other day and I was like, guys, like, you know, if you're confused at all about this, I just wanted to share this quick post. I shared a short article and my take on it. And then I said, there's two people in my immediate family, my younger brother who's in the Air Force and my other younger brother who's in the Army, who are both going to have to show up every day, business as usual, and not get paid until this is lifted. And if we need to like create a family collection or something like that, like I'm happy to organize it. I don't know these boys' situation. They're in their 20s. They probably don't got no damn money and they still have to keep paying, you know, their bills. So I was like, hey, like we should pay attention to this. Crickets, y'all, crickets in the group chat. So I don't know what's up. Like it feels like people are just not connecting to what's happening right now.
Maybe there's so much to be outraged about that the result is like that sense of analysis paralysis, or like I can understand how I can feel like, should I be outraged and put my funds through, you know, to that, or like through this? And I think a lot of people are just in survival mode, you know. I wish there was something in this freaking budget that I wish what I heard was like Democrats were, you know, not going to vote this through until there's, you know, some sort of relief for the long-term unemployed. Cause I'm honestly, I'm terrified for the number of workers that are out here who have been looking for work for months and not being able to find it. And what terrifies me more is, you know, and I understand my data is very skewed. The vast majority of the people who I talk to, you know, in my work are women of color, but so many of them are doing everything right and still unable to find full-time work. And the data is starting to back this up now. So the BLS considers, Labor Department rather, they consider long-term employment to be anything past 6 months. And right now there's a surge in the long-term unemployed. It's the highest level it's been since 2021. And we can't even really get the real up-to-date numbers on the number of jobs that are being created or not created because of this freaking shutdown, which has resulted in the Department of Labor like not being able to release the monthly jobs report, which, you know, it's a huge economic indicator. It's what the Fed uses to decide. It's one of the biggest, you know, data points the Fed uses to decide what's going to happen to rates. But yeah, I'm really freaking worried. And I think we're in a situation, it just reminds me of like COVID almost, where the financial strain is so widespread and the challenges are so widespread. Like, can we get some relief for people? Can we get like extensions for unemployment benefits for people who don't have health insurance? You know, like, can we get some sort of relief? Because it's hard as hell out here right now.
I mean, I know people personally. I have 2 Black male friends unemployed since early there this year. One Black woman friend who's been unemployed since the beginning of the summer, a Latino and an Asian woman, all very close, near dear people, either family or friends. And I mean, it's talk about like January of this year, finding out that your position is no longer a thing. And it's about to be, it's October, about to be November. Holidays are coming up. It's January again real soon. And I mean, being without a job for an entire year, even when you do everything right, according to personal financial literacy experts who tell you to have 3 to 6 months, 9 months of emergency savings fund, even doing all of that, which, let's be real, most people don't have the opportunity to have 6 to 9 months set aside. But let's say you do. Let's say you're in the small percentage of people that did. It's still not enough, because now you're going into 11 months, 12 months, 13 months of unemployment, and that emergency savings is gone. And like, what are we doing? We're not really talking about it. So I feel like your point, Mandi, is spot on, because this is a point in time where I feel like the most people that I could list off the top of my head that this is directly affecting, which means the statistics are starting to back it up. It's very rare that I would, personally touch and connect with people, so many people being affected, and very different, walks of life, different locations, different, all being affected in that way. So I completely, wholeheartedly second that.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for sharing that. I'm running out of things to say. Like all the advice, all the strategies, they just are meaningless
Yep.
when companies are simply not hiring. The jobs are simply not there.
Yep.
Even jobs that are there, they all feel like ghost jobs. People
Yeah.
sending in dozens of applications and all that, and not hearing anything back. I think I've worked with 2 women now for 12 weeks, one-on-one, incredibly like talented, currently employed, looking for new work, and nothing has panned out. I think, over that 12 weeks. So, and that's and those were for people who are like currently working. It's just, I don't have any, there's no like simple answers,
Yeah. And even
Yeah.
situations where like I know one person who got a job offer and it was like at a medical devices company or something like that. And then was offered verbally, and everything like that. Was like, oh, okay, cool. The next week, nothing happened. They're like, oh, we're gonna reach back out to you to get all the paperwork. Another week, so they go reaching back out to the person, the recruiter, like, hey, like they told me I got it. They gave me a salary and everything. They told me, and then haven't heard from them. It's been 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 days, and come to find out, eventually they contact him back and said, oh, unfortunately, the position is just like on pause right now.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Imagine, I just can't, after being unemployed for 9, 10 months, and then you finally get something and it's like a huge sense of relief. And then that, like, it's just, oh my gosh, kick them while they're down. Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah. And it's like the mental toll, right? Like it was one thing, like the financial stress
Mhm.
you're under when you have to, go without income for that long. But then mentally, it's hard to even keep yourself motivated and want to keep going. I have a friend similar to what you're saying, Yanely, where it's like he's been out since he got laid off last year, and he's been on the hunt. And he basically, it was like the worst possible time to get laid off because it was like right at the start of all of this. So he kind of like got in at the early stage of all this and has to see the job market get worse and worse and worse, but then still be like,
Right.
I'm gonna wake up today, I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. And it's just hard mentally to keep yourself in the game. And I don't blame anybody who's feeling like defeated, because it's like, who wouldn't under these circumstances?
That's a fact.
It's almost like, I almost wanted to start saying, don't wait to find like a temporary part-time position anywhere. Like, don't
Mm,
wait to go out and look for that, that bridge opportunity, even if it's not in, even if you're way overqualified and you need to take some part-time work at a grocery store, in retail, in the hospitality business and healthcare, like anything that can provide some income to weather the storm. It's not what you want to be saying to people. It's not like, doesn't make me feel good to say,
mm,
but I think that's just the reality that we're in. It's like, I don't want people to like rely on false hope of like, or that sense of like, well, I'm doing everything right. I have these qualifications. I should qualify for these roles. I should be able to find my next role. And then
Right.
weeks and months go by and you're living off of credit cards. You're blowing through your savings and you're not replenishing them.
Yep.
And you're going to end up in an even more dire financial situation.
Yep.
And
That's a great point.
yeah, and to have, like, to Chris's point too, that can like do a number on your mental health when you feel like you're not, like, you're undervalued, you're underemployed. And but I think at the same time, it's like it's shifting the perspective to like, this is a really unprecedented time in the economy.
Yep.
Things are going to have to temporarily be this way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't get back on the path that you were on when the clouds start to part. But yeah, I get really concerned when I hear about people who are relying on debt, credit cards to float them by, and blowing through their savings, because there's going to be an end to that. Like, to your
yeah.
point, Yanely.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say one thing. Two of my friends, personal connections that I have, I recently said to them, hey, I mean, I see that it's been a while and things are getting more and more frustrating. Granted, I have, like, my background is in teaching and education. But even if your background is not in education or teaching, if you can stand children even a little bit, if you can stand them, if you enjoy children, or even just be the presence around kids, like, being a substitute teacher is a really good bridge. I think not enough people consider it. And I recently told two of my friends, bro, all you have to do is put an application, be able to pass the background check. If certain things that are like pretty much typical positions that pay decent salary would require of you anyway. So if you can get through those hoops, you can start working fairly quickly, because school districts right now are in desperate need. A lot of teachers had a mass exodus from COVID, and shortly after COVID, a lot of teachers exiting, and there's a lot of understaffing in districts and schools. So if you're willing to be a sub, it's great, because first of all, the hiring process is fairly quick if you can pass the background check. Second of all,
Yay for the
when you're a
kids.
sub, I mean, if you're a good person, okay, this is only for the good people listening who like kids, like I said. But the reason why I mention it is because
It'll take anybody to watch these little hoodlums.
That's not how I meant it, but you're right.
I know.
But it's more so the flexibility. Like if you're a sub, you can literally pick the shifts the morning of. So let's say, for example, you have to go and interview. You have a couple interviews for real jobs today, and you can't. Great, just don't pick up the hours in the app. Like it's actually very flexible, so that you can continue to like put all of your energy into finding a new position while getting paid probably, I don't know, maybe like $100, $200 a day every shift that you pick up to teach. But it's, again, flexibility, pretty easy to start. And it actually doesn't look bad on a resume. Like imagine you're looking at someone's resume, and there's a period of time where they decided to give back to the community and work with children at the local school. Like that makes you look good. That doesn't actually look bad. So I personally would vouch for substitute teaching as a really great bridge. If you or someone you know who's listening is in that tough position, I've given this advice to two people recently. One of them already took my advice on it. The other one, I'm not sure, but hey, it's a great bridge, to Mandy's point.
AI jazz. Hold on, I didn't know how. Wait, so how are these videos working?
You just make videos of music, and then you put them on YouTube, and then people search for music apparently to listen to on YouTube, and you become a gajillionaire, obviously.
Why didn't I know about this? I should have been doing this years ago.
No, you shouldn't have, because honestly, recently YouTube just stop it. You're doing your Sleepy Sounds podcast, right? Like you're busy.
I am.
You're busy
Sleepy
sending us
Sounds.
Sleepy, that's not what it's called, but yeah, you in the ballpark.
But YouTube's cracking down on AI generated stuff. There was this fast, I didn't put it on the run of show because I forgot, but I remember one of the recent episodes of the Daily was about how tech single-handedly like went through the education system in the last like 15 years, and was like all the kids should learn how to code, and they'll have these $100,000 six-figure jobs in tech, and how there's this gap now because recent graduates who followed that advice and studied computer programming and software engineering entry-level stuff are graduating into a job market where the entry-level work for them has been replaced by AI, and they're not finding work after they sort of did the right thing. And it's, I feel for that weird like pocket of people, because I think now if you're in college and you're paying attention, you're switching your major, you're being more, you're studying AI, you're getting the training that you need to have to come into the job market at a higher level. But for those people who, did it the right way, did what the big tech bros said, they're coming up short. They're having a real hard time just getting entry level stuff, even internships.
Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. It's just like the word future ready, just the definition of being future ready changes every 2 to 5 years. It's impossible to keep up. So, I feel bad for young people. It's like, but I will say something that I did that I would always recommend is focusing on soft skills and not just these hard skills that you need, these technical skills, because soft skills like presentation skills, communication skills, your ability to be convincing, negotiation skills, adaptability and flexibility, teamwork, being able to be the person that everybody wants to work with. Those things will take you so much further than any one hard skill that you have, like coding, because coding will in 5 years be done by an AI, but an AI cannot be the best team on a team, the teammate on a team. The AI cannot be flexible and adaptable when things happen that it's not been inputted into that AI. Like you as a human have this advantage, which is these soft skills that computer systems just cannot do. So never completely stop focusing on soft skills, even when you are putting your focus on like future ready tech skills and hard skills, because that balance is so important to have some of both.
No, that's so true. Yeah, it's like I think we discount those little things, but that make you a valuable person in a company or an organization because yeah, a lot of people don't pick up those skills. I remember like you're not taught that in school. I didn't learn that in school. It came from like being in work, being forced to like interact and talk with people and talk in meetings and present things. That's when you're forced to learn those skills. Either you're forced to learn it or just to fail while you're trying to do it. It's like those are your two
That's
options.
Mm.
exactly. You want to get paid? You better
Yeah.
do this team presentation.
Oh my God, doing a deck, I could not think of anything worse that I am like
uh,
have so little patience for. And again, I'm not really talking myself into being very qualified for many corporate roles today, but I can't
girl.
stand it.
Girl,
Chris,
there's a
what did you?
hilarious TikTok. I have to send it to you.
Yeah.
It's the guy who's like, why didn't they tell me that my life was going to be about decks? Making the deck, sharing the deck, discussing the deck. What version of the deck are we on? It's like, I didn't know this is what's going to be. Adulthood is all about the damn decks. And I was like, he's not wrong. He's not
You're
wrong.
so right, though. Feeling future proof. I don't know that I'm future proof. Chris, do you feel future proof? What'd you study?
Right.
You know financial stuff, though,
Yeah, I
right?
studied personal finance, but you think about even the world of personal finance, how much
You
that's
studied
changed.
personal finance. You could do
Yeah, I was
that.
about to say, you could study personal
Oh,
finance.
yeah. So randomly, I went to school as an art major, and I just lucked out and picked a school. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and they had like one of the biggest business programs in California. I just lucked out, and so when I switched my major to finance, their business school had you could either go corporate finance or you could go financial planning. And so my
So
degree's in
cool.
finance, but I had a concentration in financial planning. So that's where I got my degree in.
Hmm?
But I mean, the world
So
has
cool.
changed. I mean, I graduated what 16 years ago. The world has
Yeah.
changed so much from then until
Can't be
now.
possible because I only graduated about 5 years ago, and we're around the
Yeah.
same age.
Yeah. Exactly. You just graduated yesterday, right?
Math's a little off. Want to
You
embarrass you,
know,
but
I
Happy
wasn't going to say
23rd
nothing,
birthday.
but
I don't want to talk about it.
no,
Oh,
I
But
have
yeah, like,
I have my 15-year college reunion in 2026. So
are you going?
I am going. I'm excited to go.
I don't think I had a
Look.
very organized class from my high school or college because I don't get no
no.
advice nowhere.
I on the
Mm-mm.
only reason I know is because I follow a group on social media on like Instagram that's like the graduating class. So every time they
Mm,
post like funny stories or little things, like I'll see it. And they recently posted something saying like specifically class 2011, like we're gonna have the reunion, we're planning it now. Like what suggestions do y'all have? And so I threw in some suggestions. But I feel like my college friends, even though we're spread out a lot, are really still very, very tight. Like our group chats are always
mhm.
popping. Every time we get together, it's like I just saw you yesterday, even though it's probably been like 18 months since we last hung out in person. But yeah, so I'm actually excited to go to my 15 year. And I've kept up with a lot of them on social media, even if I don't see people in person as much. And
Mm,
I don't know, my experience in undergrad was very much like I was one of the I always identified as Afro Latina, so I was very much in the Black and Latino community, heavy. So it's like even though, there's going to be a lot of people that I'll be happy to see, it's really this group of people that made my
mhm.
experience very special that I cannot wait to reconnect with. So that's just my experience.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
That
my
is.
college pals.
Yeah.
Y'all kind of feel like college pals, but like financial fin. Oh yeah, speaking of that, where I met y'all, FinCon just happened.
Yes.
How was
Yes.
it?
That's right.
Yanely, you didn't go. Chris, how was it
No.
over
You
there on
know
the West
what? All you East Coast people didn't. Let me just
Fair
tell you.
weather
So,
East
so
Coast fans?
if you all don't know, FinCon's is a conference that we all have gone to, where people who do what we do, like this finance media stuff, they come
Mhm.
together, and it's a conference. It's a good time. It's like really good people, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's almost always, either in the center of the country or on the East Coast for years and years and years. For the first time in like 7 years, it was on the West Coast, and I
Wall
was so
Street's over
excited.
here,
Like
the
it was a beautiful West
capital.
Coast. Our weather is so much better, especially this time of year, than what y'all got
Yeah.
going on. And you all
Yeah.
could have came over here, but I felt like every East Coast person was like, "Oh, the flight's too long. I can't sit on a plane for 5, 6 hours." And I'm like, "I've been doing this for years." And the one time it's on my side of the country, nobody wants to go. I don't understand it. Seems a little rude, if you ask me, but
Why you
it
gotta
was
take it
great.
personally? It's not all about you. You know
I
what I
did
It's not
take
mean?
it
about
personally.
you. It's not about
I took
you, Chris. Not
because
you
And
specifically.
here's the thing: I want everyone listening to know,
Oh no.
neither Mandi or Yanely told me in advance that they weren't going. I
You
actually was on a call.
genuinely sounded surprised when I told you I
Yeah, I
wasn't
was talking to Mandi on the phone, and I was like, I'm gonna see. I'm getting ready for FinCon. You gonna be there?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm not going." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not going? You had all this time to tell me you're not going, and all of a sudden
You
you
can't
you just
assume a woman with children's going anywhere. I didn't
mm-hmm.
show
That's
up in
true.
Brooklyn yesterday to an event I paid a ticket for. Okay.
Dang, girl,
That's
that's
only two.
close. That's
It's 2 hours away. It's so far.
You would have been halfway to
yeah.
Portland if you would have came to FinCon within two
Yeah.
hours.
No, but it wasn't. It wasn't that poorly attended, was it? Like, what was the
No,
vibe?
it looked
It definitely
online. It
felt
looked like there was a good crowd.
it was a good turnout, but definitely felt smaller. And I definitely could see who wasn't there. And it was pretty much everybody. The
Hmm.
only people who didn't show up were the ones on the East Coast.
Oh,
Well,
But
maybe they should, like, I don't know, pay your girl to talk sometime. I don't want to pay my way to go out there. It's kind of how I feel. Um,
wow. Look,
did you learn
I,
anything good there? Like, what were there any good? Like, what was the vibe? How are the FinCon influencers, bloggers, podcasters doing? Like, how's
mm,
business? Did you get a sense of that?
I did. And, I feel like the theme was transition because everybody is getting hit,
mm,
especially what you're seeing a lot of the writers. So those people who were
oof.
bloggers, who
Yeah.
were
You're
freelance
right. A lot of
writers,
writers go to
Yep.
FinCon. Yep.
Yep.
they got hit. They're getting hit really hard because obviously all the changes to Google and their little AI block that they throw up at the top, it's cutting traffic to a lot of websites. And so that cuts
Hmm.
down ad revenue and that trickles down to letting go of writers. I mean, they're letting go of like staff writers, let alone, the freelancers. Those are the first ones to sometimes get bumped out of there. And so I met a lot of people who were writers who are now transitioning. And I will say, I was really impressed by the upbeat approach a lot of these people had. Because I mean, I think it would be so easy to be defeated. If I was a writer and all of a sudden
Hmm.
all my jobs are disappearing, I understand you could just fall into some dark spaces. But I was really impressed by so many people I talked to who are like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm learning to be a video editor. I'm learning how to make content in other forms. And a lot of people were just on that pivot grind, trying new things. And that really
Hmm.
was like, impressive to see. And it gave me even like a little more hope. Like, look, this is tough. It's tough for all of us because the space is really rapidly changing. And the way you earn money through this space, like through ad revenue, things like that, has been changing for years now. But to see people who are being hit the hardest right now, finding ways to pivot and make something out of nothing, I was really impressed, and I was happy to see so many people taking being as positive as you possibly could be, considering what they're
Just
dealing with.
putting on a show.
I mean, hey,
I mean,
look,
it could be.
Don't stick
you
cry
got to
at
say it
It,
first,
FinCon.
right? You got to believe it first before it's
it could
actually
it could
true.
be putting on a show, but
Yeah.
also I feel like now is the best possible time ever in history to be in that situation because you have social media platforms like Substack, which I guess technically not social media, but just like an ability for a writer to monetize their writing by having an audience that pays them directly instead of being a famous New York Times columnist who's directly tied to payments coming from the New York Times. And if they let you go, you're screwed, right? Versus
Mm.
Substack is a kind of platform that I think is allowing writers to feel empowered to write every single day, every week, every month, however often you want to, and be paid directly. I feel like that just didn't exist and in the past. And also, I think FinCon is a great space for that kind of energy. Like I've been going since like 2018, right? And every
Mm.
single year that I've gone, it feels like people just be like, I didn't know what to do. And then I met this person over here and they told me to do this and I did it. And then I started making $10,000 a month. Like, and it's just like, whoa, when you're in a space like that where you hear from people showing you what's possible, as long as you're willing to be gritty and put in the work and like be creative and stick with something, I think that is a good space for people to be in. Even if they were a little bit faking the funk while they were there, I think they leave with value if they truly do build relationships while they're there. Like I've met people who I'm like, damn, like that is so motivational and inspiring to me. And I would never have known them if I didn't go to FinCon.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's one of those things too
Mm.
where it's especially like you see now, like the world is crazy. And being in this country is crazy. And
I don't
it's
know what you're
easy, I
talking
think.
about.
I'm sorry, I lost myself again. But it's wild. And one of the things I always hear people say is like, one of the things you can do to help yourself is find community, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
sometimes I roll my eyes. I'm like community, but then when you're in the space where you're around people who like either you've met before or you meet now in this event, and you're all kind of like working through a similar thing together. You're talking, you have a conversation, even if it's like you didn't learn anything that made you make some more money. You just have someone to talk to who knows what you're going through. And I'm like, oh, that it is so important. Like even if that moment, even if once I leave this space, I'm gonna open up my news app again and get depressed again. You have those moments where you can break yourself out of it, and that's what you need to kind of help yourself keep going. Because if you're just sitting in it every day, all day, like I do sometimes, you just like, well, what's the point? But you need those community moments.
Oh, okay.
You who gave you a soundboard? Who gave you a
ovation.
soundboard?
I'm just over here looking at these little buttons up.
Why you cut it so quick? It's like they cheered and then they didn't. Like, what happened?
Oh my God. I'm a
Mandi
Norman
technology?
Lear. What's the sitcom guy?
No, that was a bad laugh track. That's like a sitcom fake laugh track.
You guys are both right. I mean, I think looking for any place where you can show up and be with other people who are like who are choosing positivity, which is not, I think everyone can't be optimistic and positive all the time, but enough of y'all can be optimistic while others are being pessimistic to like lift each other up, and then hope like reaching out and like being in community. I think it's like we talked about mental health earlier. It's like the only cure. It just is so hard when you're in that deep funk to reach out toward.
It is. And, I will say that one of the things about moving up here to San Francisco has been that having more of a community, and that I didn't have in LA, because people just didn't want to drive. I knew people, but people just didn't want to drive. Like, I don't blame them. I didn't want to sit in an hour of traffic. But being here in a city where it's so dense and people walk around a lot, and you just end up seeing friends more often. You end up having I was with a friend yesterday at a coffee shop, and then we just struck up a conversation with some people who in the coffee shop, and we were just like, it was just so nice. I'm like, oh, look at this. It's like, it's a nice, pleasant moment that I wouldn't have thought was possible if I was just inside and staying to myself.
GPT couldn't do that. They can't make you a latte with a side of some convo.
Sure can't. Maybe a side of convo, but not the latte.
No.
Well, should we take a little break, y'all, and come back and do a Brown Boost Brown break?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back, BA fam. Stick around. Well, listen to this. Before we get into Brown Boost Brown break, I wanted to get back to thanking the listeners who take the time to leave reviews and comments and DMs. And there was one for you, Yanely. We did an episode. When did you mention this? I forget. It must have been our last Brown Table, which was a while back. But one of our listeners said, oh yeah, this is from Netta, who commented on Spotify. By the way, you guys can comment on Spotify. A lot of y'all do, and it's so great on specific episodes. Netta Jones said, thank you, Yanely. She spelled it Yanely. I like that though, but Yanely, for the book recommendation, Defectors. I didn't know about the parsley rule, and also I will be Googling it to learn more. So they're listening. Defectors.
I love that. That is first of all, Defectors is so good. And speaking of defectors, the author, Paola Ramos, just started a new podcast with her father, Jorge Ramos, who I'm sure y'all know if you've ever seen Latin news. He's a huge media guy. But together, father and daughter duo are doing a podcast. And
cute.
Yeah, it's really good.
En Espanol?
It's Spanglish. Their very first guest was Zoran Mamdani, which I highly recommend that podcast interview. It's so good. So good.
The meme
great guest kickoff.
I wish him very well, because New York deserves so much better. So much better.
Tell me about it. Although on the podcast, they talked about this, but a lot of the districts in New York, a lot of the counties that voted for Trump, those exact same counties voted for Mamdani. So you see a lot of flip-flopping, and I think either people just didn't show up to vote, or those same people are now like, what did I do? Hurry up, take corrective action, and go and vote for him. I'm not really sure, but it was explored a little bit in the podcast. It was so interesting to hear those stats around the exact same communities and pockets that voted for Trump now went ahead and voted Mamdani. You would think it doesn't really make sense, but it's interesting to see that shift.
Yeah. I don't count as a New York City constituent anymore. I'm technically I'm
upstate.
in Westchester.
You upstate.
Listen
girl.
Now. I don't think it's Westchester's not upstate.
Look, for anybody in the 5 boroughs, they know for a fact Westchester is upstate.
It is not.
It's pretty far north. It's pretty far north.
Lower Hudson Valley doesn't count. Okay.
Let me tell you something, baby girl. We got 2 airports in New York City, LaGuardia and JFK. Y'all got
and White Plains Airport, by the way, very affordable flights to Florida. We go to the Bahamas now. We even go California.
That
So
HEN?
it's
Very
easy to
much.
Is
get
that
easy to get to the West Coast, huh?
Is it White Plains Airport or
no,
Westchester
it's
Airport?
Westchester, girl. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
tell you.
Westchester.
That's the
But
airport
still,
outside the city, girl.
ugh, yeah.
Girl, it's
How
all
did we get
right.
on this topic? Tanisha, also on Spotify, back to our listeners. Tanisha, hey girl, she said, oh, she was responding to, I did an episode without y'all about
Wow.
housing, the housing economy right now. I had the chief economist from Redfin on the show, and I was
Nice.
bitching about my property taxes as I do. And Tanisha commiserates. She said, property taxes are no joke. Mine increase every year, and more houses being built in an area does not help. I live in an area that's been adding more houses and apartments for the last 20 years, but my taxes go up every year. Every year. Yeah, because they'll add houses and then they're going to add a Trader Joe's and then you know, or Whole Foods. You know them taxes are
Yep.
going up.
You don't want
Yep.
to see a Whole Foods pop up. You know it's about to get expensive.
It's or it's a
Mm-mm.
Starbucks. One
Mm.
of them. Yeah.
We're getting
Or
an Old Navy near me now. I don't know what that says about the economy
oh,
or my taxes or what. It's kind of giving like discount. I don't
It
know.
is. I mean, I'm not
I
mad at
know.
it. That's where I get my workout clothes at. I'm not even mad.
You know, I was driving when I went back home. I was down in LA and I was driving and I saw a billboard like, "Oh, new Erewhon coming." I'm like, "It's about to get real
A
crazy
new
over
what?
here." Erewhon. Have you heard of that grocery store?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, that's the
Bougie one.
expensive smoothie place,
yeah, where you get
right?
a $40 smoothie. That place.
Yes.
Yes. I only had
Bougie.
learned about them when I went to Beverly Hills like a couple years ago. That was my
Yeah, they're
first
opening
time.
new ones apparently. Like, I guess they're like, oh, you know what? People got too much money in this area. Let's make them waste
Right.
it.
People. Who these
Listen.
people? I'm about to start baking my own bread. Okay. I'm about to be on a tight budget. Like if
Yeah.
I actually need my husband to like get his paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start homesteading. I'm gonna be a trad wife.
I don't know who they. Oh, that's the route. Okay.
I'm
I
just gonna
think
start growing my own food.
I think you're gonna have to wait till hubby's paycheck hits again to take that route, girl.
Yeah, you can.
Not during this government shutdown. You can't be no trad wife.
I know. Okay, that's right. Because trad wives don't work. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
I'm like the worst type of. I'm the worst. I'm like the stay-at-home mom
You're
entrepreneur.
like, I'm a working trad wife. They're like, that's an
Uh,
oxymoron.
that's really what I feel like. Because how am I like in the PTA? I'm class mom. I have a garden, but like I'm still here writing a book, running a business. I texted one of my friends last night, and I was like, "Why the hell did you? Why did you not stop me from trying to do all this shit when I had 2 kids under 5? Like, why did you let me?" She's like, "You wouldn't have listened." She
That's
said,
true.
"Legends never listen." And I was
Yeah,
like, I don't
man.
feel like a legend. I feel like a loser. It's so hard. It's
But
so
it's only
hard.
while they're this little. Think about it. When they're older, they're gonna be like, "Well, my mom was at everything. She was in the PTA, and she was in that." And like, you can't really say that once they're older, and you're not really having to do all that stuff. So I kind of agree with her.
I
I feel like you
know.
should do all the things now while you can, and while they will feel like it's a special thing that you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that see, now I wish I could just focus on that, but it's the other half of the coin that can become laborious. But
Yeah,
and now
I
Rio
feel you on
does know
that.
mommy has a podcast. He likes it.
Wow.
Christina from IG says, Mandy, I'm one of your Latina listeners. I'm listening to today's episode, and I love that you read an Audre Lorde poem, one that
Yes.
I've turned to in my own life. And I wanted to recommend a book my girlfriend and I love reading to each other called Black People Who Read to Each Other. That's so cute.
Hmm.
It's
Love it.
called Black Liturgies by Cole Arthur Riley. As Black and Brown
Write that
lesbians,
down.
respectively, she and I turned to this book together for comfort and reflection. If you haven't already read it, check it out and let me know what you think. Okay, I've never read that. I'm going to check it
Me
out.
either. I'm just writing it
Mm,
down. Cole
same.
Arthur Riley.
You have, Chris?
No, I haven't. I'm writing it down too.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, and here's me thinking that the author was a man. It's a beautiful black woman. Okay, Cole Arthur Riley. New York Times
Oh,
best-selling
right.
author of This Here Flesh and Black Liturgies, which is the recommended book. Okay, saved.
Thank you, Christina. Oh, we have the best listeners. Okay. Brown boost, brown break time. So I'm going to boost one Ashley Allison, whose name I did not know before this weekend, but whose name we will now never forget. It will live in infamy. She is taking ownership of The Root, which if y'all, I didn't realize The Root wasn't even that old. It was founded in 2009 by the esteemed, professor Henry Louis Gates Jr. It's only been around since 2009, but it's like one of the biggest, baddest sources of Black news. And it is actually not been owned by a Black owner for several years now. It was
Mm.
acquired by, I forget which company acquired them, but then, like a lot of companies do, they spun it off to private equity firm. But Ashley Allison has now taken over ownership. She's acquired the root. And I was on the Win with Black Women. Remember Win with Black Women? It's that
Mm.
grassroots organization that really started, I think, during the pandemic, but came to fame the summer of 2024 in being one of the biggest like crowdfunding fundraising efforts from Black women for Kamala Harris's campaign, when like 40,000 Black women got on a Zoom call. That was Win with Black Women. It was founded by Joteka Eddy, and they still meet almost every Sunday. And I always try to catch the calls because they are so inspirational. And last time I was on the call, Kamala Harris was on it. Stacey Abrams stopped by. It was like
Mm.
insane.
Okay.
And yesterday, Ashley got on, and she had a really inspiring story because apparently in 2009 she was trying to start a blog, like a media brand. What's the name of her company? I'm going to forget it now, but that sort of had gone dormant. And since then, she's come up in media and as an executive and as an investor, and now she's able to purchase the root and bring it back to Black ownership. And I just think that
Amazing.
that's incredible.
That is amazing. Her company is called Watering Hole Media.
Oh, thank
Mm.
you. Watering Hole Media. Now the
She
owner
better
of
go
the
ahead.
root.
I love that.
Nice.
Amazing. I love that. Well, my boost is going to be a little bit like sad slash, not 100% great, but if you don't already know what happened in the Trey Reed case, he was found dead on the campus of Delta State University. I have been
Mm,
trying to figure out what happened with this case, with the Trey Reed case. Like, I feel like it was everywhere and then it was
yeah.
gone, right?
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
yesterday I read an article on blackgirlnerds.com. If you don't know Black Girl Nerds, I love Jamie Broadnax. She's amazing. But she posted literally just a couple of days ago that new information has been revealed from the second autopsy. And so my boost is a huge shout out to Colin Kaepernick, because through his
Mm.
nonprofit organization, they fully funded a second independent autopsy
And this
so
was the
that
kid who was found hanging from a tree.
from a tree,
Mm.
Okay.
from a
And
tree.
they said it was a suicide. Okay, so what did
They
they find?
immediately said it was a suicide, which a lot of people were like, shady, shady, shady. Hell no, that can't be it. And so it was kind of like a case closed situation. But the family and all these people were like, there were murmurs of things weren't right. Like that didn't feel right. And so Colin Kaepernick's organization went and funded a second independent autopsy. And now his organization revealed that there was blunt force trauma to the back of Trey Reed's head, which was not found when the initial ruling was determined to be a suicide. So now there are all of these activists and advocates that are essentially reviving the situation. Thank goodness, because if not, like nobody would be paying attention. And that was just way too sketchy and bizarre for
Mhm.
people to just ignore. So if it wasn't for Colin Kaepernick funding this, I don't think it would have been possible. It's very expensive. And not only that, but then I looked into the organization, the nonprofit that he has that does this, and this is a track record of what they do. Like his organization was created specifically to help in cases where things don't seem right in these criminal whatever case situations where there's like, oh, it's there's something sketchy, but the official report says there was no sketchy part in it. And so his
Mm.
organization actually funds independent autopsies pretty regularly. And so I just thought that was incredible that he would take his money, put it to a nonprofit that focuses on doing that, because that is so incredibly necessary in the larger fight for social justice. And so, yeah, this boost is just big ups to Colin Kaepernick, because that's amazing.
Mm.
Amazing.
Well, I don't know if that would even bring comfort to the family, but I think the truth, any closer to the
Yes.
truth. Because I
Yes.
agree, it was crazy how it just completely fell off of mainstream news.
Yeah, you know nothing about it.
No. And I've literally been like, every time I'm on the news, I'm looking at the news. I'm like, matter of fact, the other day I was going through my phone. I pull up this New York Times article, and it's like Taylor Swift's new album. Here are the top songs. I'm like, how is this news? New York
All I've been
Times.
seeing
I
is
mean,
here are the worst songs. People hate that
what? I'm
record.
just like, New York Times, how is this news? Please. I truly don't understand like how that comes to my email inbox when there's all kinds of craziness happening and that it's not deemed news. Like, I don't put me on this mic to talk about that. But anyways, So shout
Should
out to
have
Colin
done.
Kaepernick. Shout out to him because that's amazing. It just put fuel under me to recognize that every time I think about my why for financial independence, it's because I feel like there's so much work that needs to be done that a lot of like official channels won't do, and that's where independently wealthy people can come in and play a very powerful role and just like fired me up to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I should have done a break for the Epstein shit. I'm so tired of that man's name.
My
And
goodness,
Jazane, what's her face? Like that's been on the New York Times homepage for me, girl. I'm sick of that shit.
I can't.
But yeah, and let's keep Trey's name in the news because I think
Exactly.
that's just a symptom of like, oh, America must be really comfortable with the idea of a black man swinging from a tree to just, turn the page on it and pretend like it never happened.
I
Yeah.
Let
know,
that
and
have
it's
been a
so
woman, a white
weird.
woman. Let it have been a Suzanne or something like, and we would not hear the end of it.
Anybody, like it's so bizarre to me. Like what kind of person who wants to unalive themselves does it in a like extremely public place in a public way like that? People who usually want to do that, they did in the privacy of their own home, in a hotel room, in their bathroom, and it
Mm.
just seems so bizarre. And then to then like immediately say it's a suicide. I mean, nobody obviously knows exactly what happened, but the fact that Kaepernick is putting money behind actually figuring it out is just it's necessary because it just seemed way too sketchy.
Yeah, because no black person's choosing that as their way to go out.
Yeah. That's a level of
Yeah.
self-loathing that
Make it
doesn't
make
I don't think we're
sense.
capable. You gotta
Make it
Mm,
make
trust the
sense.
mother. The mother always said like he would not do this. He was not that unhappy.
mm.
I believe her. I hope that the truth comes out.
Yeah, same.
All right, Chris, you're up.
Okay, all right, my turn. I didn't. I was letting it breathe. I didn't want to just hop right in.
Yeah, can't jump in with some. That's why I said I preface mine with like this is a hard one, but
Sorry, that's
there's
my anxiety. I don't know how to let silent. You saw what I did with that
say
laugh
with the
track.
pause.
I don't
I
know
know.
what to do.
It's okay.
You know what? I'm gonna do a brown boost. And mine, mine's gonna be for the city of Portland, which neither of you two visited. But it's Portland. It's another West Coast city, not too far from where I live right now. It's been in the news. Couldn't possibly understand why it's been in the news, but it's been in the news. And I gotta say, I enjoyed my time in the city of Portland. It was beautiful.
Wait, why has it been in the
Uh,
news for
oh,
ICE? Is that why?
Yeah, because they were
yeah,
the judge said that they can't bring in forces to protect people in Portland. Like essentially stopped him from sending in troops, which
Okay.
is wild. That Anyway, but that's why they've been in the
yeah.
news.
Yeah, and because it's saying Portland's in state of revolution. I spent 5 days in Portland, and I gotta say it's still a city. Every city I've lived in cities my whole life. You're gonna see some stuff in cities. That's just how it is. And if you've never been in a city, it is shocking. But if you've lived in cities, you're like, hey, that's just part of it's part of being in the city.
City's a
Uh,
city. Yep.
but there are so many beautiful areas out there. Portland, the most bike friendly city I've ever visited. I was zipping around that city on e-bikes left and right,
Nice.
hopping on trains, going down to different restaurants, different parks. Went to this there's this little park called Mount Tabor. It's like a little mountain hill. You can ride a bike all the way up to the top, have views of the city. Got to talk to there's like just a couple up there walking around. We were talking to them. So it was just there's so much good food. It feels kind of almost like you're going in like a little time capsule because Portland is weird and people are definitely dressed like it is 1993 out there, and it's like the grunge scene. I was like, I feel like I've traveled back in time, but it was just cool to see. There's so many like a lot of their food scene. 'Cause I'm sure it's a city is expensive like any other place. A lot of restaurants
Yeah.
have these like food trucks and trailers that they park together, and it'll be like a whole like little park of just like trailers, all these different food. Which is one spot they had music playing. I had like this great Japanese sandwich from these people who were from Japan who set up this sandwich shop that was amazing. They had
That
museums.
sounds so
Yeah,
good.
so
What's on
much
a Japanese
coffee.
sandwich?
I was like like a Japanese sando. It's like they didn't use like a soft milk bread. It's like a fried chicken or
They always
a
have the
pork,
fried chicken.
little
Asians love fried chicken.
katsu.
I love them
I
for it.
love the katsu. Whew, so
It
good.
was so good. And so I'm like, you know
So
what?
good.
Shout out to
I've been meal
Portland.
prepping too long. I just want to taste something different. I'm so sick of salmon and quinoa.
I
I'm
feel you
just
on
saying,
that.
you came to Portland. I could have taken you to some of those
That was
places,
fun.
but you weren't there,
I
so you missed
desperately
out.
want to do ha 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 ha. You know that It's Twilight music.
Girl, I don't know
Not
what that
Seattle.
was.
I didn't know
don't know
what
you're
that
talking about,
was
girl.
either.
Oh, y'all are not on my side of TikTok.
No, I think whatever you did was never on TikTok. I don't know where that was.
I was like, what does that have to do with tonkatsu?
It's
I'm
the
so
sound from
confused.
Twilight when they're
Gotcha.
zipping around the
I was
forest
like,
on the
is this
Pacific
some Frozen? Is this like
Northwest.
a Disney musical you're singing to us? I didn't know what was
Girl,
happening.
I was confused. I was like, oh, it's just,
As if you could
she
outrun me.
busted out
All right.
into a hymn. I don't know.
Were you in Portland as a flyover on your way to Hawaii, or just like was that
No, I
another
went.
destination?
Oh, Yanely, when she went to
Or
Hawaii?
you weren't you in Hawaii recently?
I did get to go to Hawaii. But I was in Portland for FinCon. That's why I was there.
Oh,
That's
I
why you
forgot
don't
where
really.
even was that.
Girl, he was jabbing at you the whole time about not going to Portland, not going to FinCon. It went right over her head, Chris.
She was so far away from ever coming to
I thought,
FinCon,
oh,
she
you
didn't
went
even
to
get the
Fin- you went
joke.
to
She didn't even know
Portland.
where I
That's
was.
fun, just for funsies. My bad. My bad.
Oh, but yeah, shout out to Portland. Keeping it weird.
Right.
We're looking
Well,
forward
while
to
you're
reading
shouting
it.
out Portland, we should also shout out the federal judge who blocked Trump's National Guard deployment to Portland because I think that's like breaking news and honestly so important in the
And he's
middle
going
of
to
all
follow
this.
that order. I'm afraid for the day when he stops listening to judges' orders.
Well,
mean,
they're sending the
I-
California National Guard up there now.
Yeah, it's honestly it's a lot. Like I don't know if y'all have heard of these stories, but there are a couple stories about a bunch of people who are just being murdered on ships that are like throughout the Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela, and every possible international law or maritime law is being broken by this Trump administration because they have not to this day not presented any evidence that these boats were indeed filled with drugs, but yet they're like, oh, we're just trying to prevent these boats from bringing all these drugs to America. So they just bombed them and killed like 20 something people so far in the past 30 days. Imagine just murdering one person every day for the past month and nobody's talking about it. And it hasn't really been on the news that much. I haven't seen people posting about it. And it's like such a blatant like violation of international and maritime law. So I hear you, Mandi. I am a little nervous about the like, does he even care about what judges are saying he can and can't do? Because clearly there's no concern over violating international law in those cases. But at least the judge did what she's supposed to do. So
Yeah.
Well, Supreme Court's back in session this week. So I think this is the first, like, I don't know, maybe the second time they've been in session this year.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he follows anything that they say. Because I know a lot of the cases that they're hearing have to do with shit he'd been trying to do. These National Guard deployments and ICE raids and all of that.
yeah,
it's
been,
really giving
temporarily happening.
It's really giving like Israel saying everyone that they bomb in Gaza was Hamas, was harboring her own. It's all propaganda, a lot of propaganda. We have to really be, I was going to say mistrustful, but just like
no healthy level of skepticism.
Examining, skeptical. That's the right word. Skeptical of everything that's coming out of this administration.
I agree.
But that was supposed to be a boost. Well, thank you, Chris, for taking us to Portland. How was Hawaii? What's Chris like in Hawaii? What was happening over there? The lady for vacay?
Well, Southwest, I got a companion pass through their promo they had going on. Did you see that, Yanely? They had like if you do like a round trip flight, and I got it for 2 months, and so we were like, well, where can you go on Southwest? And I was like, oh, Hawaii, and so we ended up using it to go to Kauai and the Big Island, and it was
love it.
So beautiful. I mean, it's hot and humid, but you're on an island. That's what you expect. And so, but I was like, you just getting the island breeze, eating some food.
Did you see whales?
No, saw dolphins though. Almost got seasick on a boat because I'm like, oh, I don't really go on boats like that. And but it was still beautiful. Got to go around I think it's the Nepali coast on Kauai. The Big Island.
You would love it, Mandi. You would love it.
I know. It's a trick. Look, that's far for someone on the East Coast. That's like a 12-hour flight.
That's damn near across. I might as well just keep going to Japan, Tokyo.
Pretty much at that point.
But worth it. Yeah, you get exactly. You do a trip to the West Coast, and then you stay for a day, and then you do a trip to Hawaii, and then you do a trip to
Australia.
Just keep going. Just make your way around the world.
Never come back to America.
I mean, why do you want to?
Keep going.
That's my question. Why do you want to come
on my
here?
Magellan shit. Well, I'm glad to hear that you had some R&R. And how is the sleepy time? Talk sleepy to me.
Let me hold on. I'm just cut you off because you're just giving all the wrong names.
Talk sleepy to me.
There you go. The podcast is called Talk Sleepy to Me. The official trailer and all that is out now. You can subscribe to it. You can follow it. And
Just the trailer. When's the first?
I know.
First episode's coming out next week. Next week, the first episode will be launching. And yeah, I'd love to get any feedback from people listening. And
let me know if you want me to moonlight. I can do like a little Twilight for you for one of your.
The thing is, I would like the podcast to survive and keep going. And I feel like that
does it not
would
sound
not
good?
work
In my
towards that
head,
goal.
I'm like, wow, I'm really nailing it.
I mean, I love that. I love that confidence you have in yourself.
I feel like Hillary Duff.
Yes, that is accurate. All right, y'all. I just hit the follow button on Spotify. Talk Sleepy to Me, Chris Browning. I can't wait for the first episode. I cannot wait.
I appreciate it, man. Just so you all know, if you're all nervous, Mandi will not be on that podcast, so you're safe to subscribe.
We'll see if it works, because J.K. Rowling is in the news again for showing her ass, and I've been listening. I fall asleep to Harry Potter every night. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So maybe a little something different would help.
Yeah, shake it up a little bit.
Well, thank y'all so much for doing the brown table with me. I really missed y'all.
Same.
Hopefully we can do another one the next few weeks. We can get it together.
Yeah,
for sure. Good. We could have done one in person in Portland, but hey, that opportunity is gone.
Yeah. Bitterness really rots the soul from within. And I wouldn't want that for my friend.
Not for you, Chris.
I'd want you to be light.
Thanks for looking out for me. I appreciate it.
It's some love. All right. Love y'all. Be well. Take care. NBA fam, love you even more. Don't forget to leave us a review while you're at it. Comment on Spotify, on YouTube. Oh, that's where I forgot to look for comments. I'm going to go to YouTube next time, y'all. Shout out our YouTube listeners. And our Patreon. Don't forget to sign up for the Patreon, where you can join Brown Table sessions live in our audience. Go to patreon.com/brownambition. And I'll be announcing our November-December book club pick very, very soon. So make sure you stay tuned. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.